For 2 millennia, humanity had been the galaxy's peacekeepers. After the Great Convergence Wars that had nearly destroyed all sentient life, it was human diplomats who had brokered the Eternal Accord. Human mediators who had established the neutral zone protocols. Human peacekeepers who had maintained stability across 47 star systems for 2,000 years without firing a single shot in anger. The galaxy had come to rely on humanity's unwavering commitment to nonviolence. They were the species that chose negotiation over annihilation, compromise over conquest. Even when provoked, humans always found another way. Until the Nexari Empire took the children. Captain Elena Morrison had been leading a routine diplomatic mission to the contested Kepler system when Nexari warships surrounded her vessel. The Harmony's Dawn was a civilian transport carrying cultural exchange students, 37 human children between the ages of 8 and 14, returning from an educational tour of allied worlds. "This is Captain Morrison of the Earth Diplomatic Corps," she broadcast on all frequencies. "We are carrying civilian passengers under Galactic Accord protection. Stand down immediately." Admiral Krekstar's response came through crackling with malicious satisfaction. "Human peacekeeper, your species' dedication to nonviolence has made you weak. These offspring will serve as conscripts in our expansion fleet. Consider it a cultural exchange." The last transmission from the Harmony's Dawn was Elena Morrison's desperate plea. "Mayday, Mayday. Nexari forces have breached our hull. The children, they're taking the children. Tell Earth. Tell them we tried to." The signal went dark. What happened next would be studied in military academies for centuries. Within 6 hours of the transmission, every human diplomatic vessel in the galaxy received the same coded message. Protocol 7 is now active. The Accord is suspended. All peacekeeping operations are hereby terminated. The Nexari had made a fundamental error. They assumed that 2,000 years of peace had made humanity soft. They didn't realize that human pacifism was a choice, not a weakness. They had no comprehension of what humanity had been restraining. The first sign that something had changed came when human settlements across the galaxy began evacuating non-human civilians. Confused alien families found themselves being politely but firmly escorted to transport ships by grim-faced human officials. "For your own safety," was all they would say. The second sign was the silence. For 48 hours, no human responded to any galactic communications. Diplomatic channels went dead. Trade negotiations ceased. Cultural exchanges stopped. It was as if humanity had simply vanished. The third sign was the fleets. They appeared without warning at the edge of Nexari space. Massive formations of ships that no one had known existed. Vessels built not for diplomacy or trade, but for one purpose only: absolute annihilation. Humanity had spent 2,000 years building these fleets in secret, hoping they would never be needed. The Nexari Empire controlled over 300 worlds. Their military was among the largest in the galaxy. They had conquered dozens of species and enslaved billions. The war lasted 17 hours. Human forces didn't target military installations or strategic positions. They went directly for the Nexari command structure with surgical precision that bordered on the supernatural. Every Nexari military leader, every government official, every collaborator who had participated in the child-taking was eliminated simultaneously across 300 worlds. But they saved Krekstar for last. When Admiral Krekstar's command ship was finally boarded, he found himself face-to-face with a human soldier whose eyes held the accumulated fury of 2 millennia of restraint finally released. "The children," the soldier said quietly. "Where are they?" Krekstar, surrounded by the corpses of his bridge crew, could only point toward the detention levels. 37 human children were found alive and unharmed in the ship's brig. They were immediately evacuated to safety. Krekstar was not. When the smoke cleared, the Nexari Empire no longer existed. 300 worlds had been liberated. Billions of slaves were free, and humanity quietly returned to their diplomatic posts. The galaxy learned a terrible lesson that day. There's a vast difference between choosing peace and being incapable of war. And there are some lines that should never, ever be crossed.